Hey folks, Tim Newman with Soft Lite Studios bringing yet another daily assignment your way. Today's assignment for August 15th, 2019. Our assignment today is titled Birds. So take a flight of fancy and study some aviary creatures near you. Birds make for wonderful photographic subjects, what with their colorful wings and their playful antics. Birds require patience and understanding, but your reward for your efforts will be some stunning images. Let's take a look at some samples. Here we have a pelican just waiting around for a fish to hop into its mouth. Now, I'm not really sure how many fish hop into pelican's mouth, but he's got that whole opportunistic attitude going anyways. I really like this scene. It's clearly shot from the level of a boat. Looking up at the pelican, that's how we're getting the sky in the background. And I think that really works well. It isolates all of those other marine elements that we would normally see in the background. It is a rule of thirds division in the image here, but we are using that middle line point of view for the subject here as well. So it's a little bit of a deviation from the rule, but I think it works quite well in this image. Now, this next sample image, what's not to love? I love hummingbirds. Hummingbirds are not the easiest birds to capture. A lot of times, this shot is your tripod sitting out on the porch or where the hummingbirds are at with the camera on it and a cable release to get you away from these naturally skittish birds. I think the focus here is dead on. I love the minimal depth of field, and I love the fact that the shutter speed here is high enough to stop the wing movement on the bird, which on a hummingbird is a challenge. And I think the color set here is really great as well. And by the way, did anybody notice the bees hanging out in the background? Excellent touch. I had to Photoshop those in later, but it really works. No, totally kidding, but I really like this image. Let's take a look at some of the elements of design that we are interested in here. With birds, it's all about lines and shapes. And if you can get the three-dimensional aspect, then it's form. But form is probably the bigger challenge when you're working with birds, just because of your distance and the way that shadow and texture is going to get lost over that distance. Keep those elements of design in mind. I think they'll really come in handy when you're thinking about your bird shots. Let's take a look at some more sample images here. Here's a couple of guys hanging out in the nest. I'm not sure if they're making out or if they're fighting over some food. Doesn't really matter. I think the image comes together really, really well. Again, rule of thirds, nicely controlled color set here, and the quality of light here is spot on for this image. I think it works really, really well. All right. This guy here doesn't want his picture taken, and no, I don't know if that's the case or not. Actually, I think he's coming in for a landing in his nest, but I really like the intensity in his look. He's studying his landing. I think this is the same look that's on the face of a Navy pilot when he's trying to land that bird on an aircraft carrier. At any rate, color set here is really great, almost leaning towards the monochromatic, not quite, little touches of yellow in there, but I really dig this shot. And then last but not least, we all know where birds come from, right? We've studied the birds and the bees, well, at least the bird part. And here is a shot of exactly that. A little bit of rule of thirds going on here, intersection over there on the right-hand side of the image. And I love, again, the minimal depth of field, that middle field focus that works really, really well here with the nest with these eggs in it. Let's take a look at our rules of composition for this assignment. Balance is really important. I would say tonal balance first and foremost, and subject balance second. Point of view is going to definitely change how these critters look in the viewfinder. And then last but not least, where you can work it in, that rule of thirds. Let's take a look at our last slide here. Here are our export specifications if you're going to submit an image for a monthly image critique. By the way, later today, first critique is going up. And then we have down here a file naming example and the naming standard. If none of this makes sense to you, take a look at the Update 01 video where you'll find all of this stuff explained. It's in a clickable link down below in the description. Right next to that, you'll find the clickable link for the upload URL. So you don't have to type in all these characters, just click there. Click there. I must be thinking about my margarita later this afternoon. Just click there. And speaking of clickable links, don't forget that red subscribe button, one of the best clickable links on the page. All right, folks, fly out there and find some birds to shoot. And remember, while you're out there, learning equals skills, practice equals mastery. We'll see you out there.